Good evening, all. Okay, fine. So let us start the session with HTTP session. Okay, so we have seen different types of session trackings in that, different in the sense, 3 types of session trackings are done. And now today, we are discussing about HTTP session tracking. Okay. So before going to, before moving to this HTTP session tracking, let me show you the yesterday's, previous class activity that is hidden, not hidden, URL rewriting. So it was not working, right? I guess this one only. So let me show you this execution. There is nothing. So only, a small mistake with the colon. So actually what I was, I did. So this, colon was ended by this servlet name, not that. So I have to, we have to end that with the after passing parameter value. Okay, right. So yesterday it was like, let me remove. Right. So I was, enclosed with semicolon with a servlet name. So that should not be a right one. So we have to close that at the end of the right parameter. Okay, so only this was a small mistake which was happened in the last activity. So let me show you this execution. So actually we have not done any validation. So here is a login page. Let me enter the name of user and fine. So you can observe here, welcome to online training ExcelR. And if I click, actually we can change this, anchor link, anchor tag. This hyperlink can be changed to next line, or I can give gap, but let me. So when I click on this, again that same parameter, we are forwarding, we are redirecting to the second page. So even the same can be happen with multiple pages. Okay, we can transfer this same user information to a different pages. Okay, so with the help of hyperlink. Okay, so this is about URL rewriting. Even this is a one way of tracking session. So what is the need of this tracking session? Just to maintain the state of a user. So here actually I've taken only username, but still we can maintain, we can get the values about complete details about any user. Okay, fine. Now let's start with HTTP session tracking. So that's actually one important, I can say it is an important tracking technique. Okay, because in real time, in applications, majorly it is used especially with the server side, session tracking. Okay, right. So this is the one most important session tracking. Yes, and it is mainly used for creating object at server side for each client. Okay, even it can be used with client side, but major usage of this HTTP session is for server side. Okay, session tracking at server side, remember. And yes, of course, session is available until the session timeout. So there will be a session, there will be a time for this session. It will be started until the time, time out. Okay, so that can be decided by us. So minimum, the default session time will be 30 minutes. Okay, and yes, if we want to change, then we can go ahead with the configuration. So that configuration needs to be passed in web.xml. So please observe here. So web app, I just, it's a kind of sample tests are given, session config and session timeout. So here I have mentioned it as a 50. You can change anything which you require. Okay, so this is about, session timeout. This is only based on requirement. We can define this in a web.xml. Okay, right. So this HTTP API. So when we talk about HTTP API, so specifically this HTTP session is an interface. Okay, it's an interface which is defined in Java ExcelR HTTP package. Okay, if you want to track, if you want to, first of all, if you want to, uh, get any user information, we must instantiate this HTTP interface. Of course, not by using new keyword, but there will be, there are ways, right? Right. So this HTTP, session mainly it's used to perform mainly two tasks. So those are, so the first one is for binding objects and to view the, objects and to manipulate information about the session, which is related to your objects. Okay. So how do we instantiate this HTTP interface? So we can instantiate this HTTP interface by using its, interface by using interface. So I had given here and request object equals to, sorry, not request object. So HTTP session and its instance or reference equals to request object dot get session. Okay, so then we have, there are two methods mainly to get session information or session object. Those are get session and get session with a Boolean value. Okay, so yes, these are associated with the request object. Remember, because we are trying to get. If it is, getting part, so compulsory it will be with a request object. Okay, so now we'll see one sample activity without this, HTTP session. Okay, and then I'll give you, how this HTTP session can be achieved. So let me create. So this is without okay, without HTTP session. Okay, let me finish it off. Once again. Okay. So in web content, let me create a, login page. So this will be a common page. So yes, now we are familiar with the form, login form. Yes, form action and method equals to. So it's a get. Okay. And inside this form tag, let's take table. Okay. So table, and I'm going to define table row. Table row with the, yes, table data. And here it is, username. Okay, so username with the input tag. Okay, so input type equals to um, type is equals to text, comma. It's not comma, sorry, it's a name equals to uname, username. Okay, so then close this and right. It's okay, let's close. Okay, so now we have to write it for the password, right? And yes, again tr, then it's td and password. So input, type equals to password and name equals to password. So this should be in double quotes. Okay, so now close this td and tr. Okay, so now we should have which button is that? Submit button. Even we can have here, break tag as well. Okay, so this is not needed. Fine. So now let's take input. Why is this? Because I have closed the TD and I close the TR and then break and then yes, okay. Okay. Now come out of this table and input. Okay, input. Input type equals to submit and value equals to login. Okay, so this is a login form. And now let me create. Okay, so let me create a session. Okay, session servlet. So here, let me create a default, I'm not creating any package now. Okay, so I'm trying to show you servlet directly. Okay, so servlet name is session servlet 1. Okay. Let me take here get method. Okay. So now Fine. So let me add the jar. Okay. And what is it? Constructor. Fine. So now observe inside this do get method. So basically what we will do, we'll set the content type, and then we'll try to retrieve, the parameter from the user and validate, and then redirect to another page. Now, right? So response. Uh, response dot set content type text slash HTML. Okay. And now print writer and its instance equals to response dot, okay, response dot get writer. Okay. Now requesting. Okay. Getting parameter. Instead of getting, we can say it as a reading parameter from user. So what is it? String. I'm taking it as a name. So string name equals to request object. Request dot get parameter. And here we have to pass that u name, which is, which is present in a login page. This one. Okay. And now, okay. So now please observe. I'm getting. Okay. So what I'm trying to evaluate. Okay. If okay. So this is related to the username. So if name dot equals, okay, so equals, in this equals, let's, okay, let's pass, equal, or if it is empty, okay, or what condition can be passed here? Again, name dot equals, equals of, it's not equals, let me give here, name is equals to null. Okay. So here I'm trying to print, that is p dot print. Okay, p dot print, and here in double quotes. So I'm just trying to return some value. Center, and I'm taking h2. Okay, so h2, and I'm going to display font size. Okay, so font size. So font color equals to, so in red color, I'm going to display that. So username is mandatory. Let me write here, red, right? So it's done. User name is Okay, so username is mandatory. So please enter username. Okay, so please enter username, and here we have to pass close this font, and we do have one more, right? H2. Okay, hope it's clear about this statement and this particular line. And now, okay, and now what we can do here, we can call the request dispatcher. Okay, request dispatcher and its instance. We cannot instantiate this by using new because it's an interface. Okay, so request dispatcher and its reference equals to request dot uh, request object dot get requested dispatcher, and here we have to pass the file name where we are going to redirect this message, right? So where we redirect this message, actually in the same file, am I right? So what is that file name? Login.html. Login.html. Okay, so in the same page, we are going to include the message. Let's close this. And now request to dispatcher dot include. Okay, so here request and response. 1 minute. So after this condition we can have an else part. Else, so in else out dot, I'm confused, it's a p dot print. Okay, so inside print, so we can say it as an welcome welcome message for this user, in case if the user is not empty. Okay, fine. So here it is green. Actually anything, any value can be used, fine, it's not only green, right? And now, so I'm gonna call that name. So what is that name? Yeah, it is just a name. Okay, so here is name, again plus. Okay, and now we have to close this font tag, right? So we have to close this font tag, font, and now h, right? H2. Okay, so that is done. And right, so we, if needed, we can have break as well. Actually I can write here itself break tag. That's fine. Anyhow we are in the next line, right? So let's take p dot print. So within this break tag. Okay, and now right, So, and now anyhow we have displayed, we have taken break, and yes, now we can redirect this value to next page. Okay, I mean the second page. Fine. So now let me write in the comment. So while clicking on this hyperlink, mm, it makes a new request. Okay, a new request for servlet session 2. I'll take servlet session as 2 as a class, servlet name. Servlet session 2. Okay. And now here again, so p dot print. So in this p dot print, so I'm gonna use this hyperlink. Okay, h reference equals to this should be the so this should be the second servlet URL pattern. Okay, so let me take that same name, session servlet 2. Okay, after this we have to close the tag and yes, write something here. Anchor tag. Somewhere is mistaken, right? Okay, I should end it with semicolon. But still, so right, it is done. So now, yes, if needed, we can have close. Actually, we have not used any try catch blocks. That's fine. Now we can close this. Okay, so now let's go to our web.xml for configuration. Web.xml. So this is servlet. Okay, and in servlet we should pass servlet name. So what is servlet name? That is session servlet 1. Session servlet 1. Oh, it's not that. So it is servlet class slash login. Okay, let's go with session servlet 1. Okay, and servlet mapping. Okay, so in this servlet mapping, let's pass servlet name. So, and then URL pattern. Okay, so URL pattern is session servlet 2. Okay, so now let's take the same, session servlet 1, and let's go here and right. So I'm passing here, and anyhow in this servlet as in hyperlink we have session servlet 2. Okay, so this is a URL pattern of session servlet 2 class. Fine. So now let me run this. I just wanted to show you, why we needed before HTTP. Okay, before HTTP, what is happening? Nothing is validated, right? Without HTTP session servlet 1. Why this is. Let me clean the project. So it's configuring. Yes, it's done. So this is related to the loading context. It's yes, reloading. It is showing about the URL rewriting. Why? So remember, these are not the errors. Okay. Something is wrong. 4 not 4 in the sense. So this problem is from my end only. What is this problem? Let me take servlet 1. Configuration is wrong. So it is a class name, not a URL pattern. Okay. So class name should be same. Right. So now let me check for the second servlet as well. Oh, I have written only for the first class. That's the reason. Okay, let me write for the second class also. Okay, servlet name. So servlet name is session servlet 2. Okay, I should create one more servlet. First, let me create that servlet. Session servlet 2. Okay, I created. That name is already exist, but where? Oh, I passed it here now. Okay, let me remove. Okay, so this is for session servlet 2. Okay, so now for this we have to, we can retrieve and we can print. Okay, so let's go to this class. Okay. Okay, so inside this method, so what we need to do, in general, we have to instantiate, object for, it's not for instantiation, sorry. We can simply get a value which is, redirecting from the servlet one, and we can just, print it to the browser. That's it. Okay. So basically here, response dot set content type. Okay, response dot set content type. So this is for this text slash HTML, and right. So print writer p equals to response dot get writer. Okay, and now string. mm, I'm taking it as a get name. Okay, so just for you know it's just a string variable. Okay, so here request dot get parameter, and what is the parameter name which I passed here? Mm, 1 second. Right, so in else part, in this else part we have hyperlink. So here hyperlink, so we can get this name as what is the variable name here? 1 second. Okay, so the one which we have taken from the UI, that same variable we have to get it. Okay, so let's go here, and within double quotes, that is name and end with semicolon. Fine. And now we can print this value to the browser. So what we will print? Just will print, yes, page 2, welcome with this message. Not message, the client name or username. Okay, so print welcome page 2 welcomes you. Okay, and I'm going to use this font color. Okay, and now I'm passing the name, so that is get name. It is just a variable. Okay, so get name is not the, it's a method, it's just a string variable. That's it. I have opened this double quotes but never closed it. So here, let me close it. Right. So now, so let's go to, let me remove this. Still I have an error. Fine. Now it will work fine. So let's go to web.xml is having an error, right? So here session servlet 2. Okay, this is the servlet name, and we had to pass servlet class. So same one had to be passed here. Fine. So now servlet mapping. Okay. Now servlet mapping. And in this servlet mapping, right. Let me, move this to the next line. So in servlet mapping, nothing, we have to pass servlet. Uh, servlet session 2. And now URL pattern. Okay, so URL pattern as slash session servlet 2. Okay, so now let's go to, let me check once for clarification in this servlet session 1. Right, so now let me close all. Right, so go to this project, without HTTP session project, and let me run this. Okay, so yes, next and finish with a server. Oh, Tomcat error. Let me change, I'm gonna change the port number. So let me use 6. Sometimes, this Tomcast troubles a lot. Okay, so it is failed to start. So let me try the way which can be. Right, so let's go to, I'm gonna select that. Actually 8.0 only I have. Let me check once. It's still not working. What else can be done? Apache. It is not there. Let me check for MySQL. Nothing is a problem. Okay, so one last trial with the server folder. Let me delete this. And now show view. It is not showing. That is fine. Let me go with the. Okay, let me take one new workspace and we'll try. So switch workspace. And now I'm taking it as in JDBC servlet. So here, this is in a JDBC, so I'll import that project again. I cannot write because it will take, lots of time. So I'll import that project. Browse. So in this browse, JDBC, this is session tracking without. without HTTP session. Okay, so now let's take one, let me import that, jar file, servlet jar. Why I shifted? Because it takes, it will take some time to, correct that Tomcat server. Sometimes it works, immediately after deleting the servers folder. Okay, now let me try, once. Is done as run on server. Hope it should work successfully. So browse the path and documents. All right. Okay, done. So hope it should work successfully. Okay, it is taking, a few, it will be with the seconds, but yes, for the first time it will take, few minutes. Oh God, it's same problem here as well. What can be the done? Okay, let me try with 8.5. I don't have download option as well. Um, hmm, no, I don't have another version also. Let's go back. Basically, it gives download and install option, but it's not giving for me. But still somewhere there should be a 9.0, 9.0 version. Okay, so I don't have that. So let me try for downloading, the latest version, Tomcat. Fine, so let's go with the 9. Actually, without this, server, if we don't need to bother about these kind of issues, we can go with the, Maven. Okay, so Maven, it automatically downloads. It's actually downloads dependencies, but not the, servers. Uh, but still, sometimes, if when we face this issue, it will take lots of time to, resolve this. Let me check whether it is installed or not. I mean, downloaded or not. Yes, it's done. So now I'll extract this one. Sorry. So it's actually, getting same issue. So let me, try to check the path. Okay, I'm going to check the path, class path. Okay, class path for this Tomcat. Okay, so I am setting, setting the path is done. Okay, I started once again. Let me check again problem. Both the servers are failed to start. Both the servers in the sense, both versions. I have installed, ninth version as well as 8.0 version as well. Okay, so any changes can be done. I again actually redeployed with the deletion option. It's downloading, required M2 releases. Okay, so let's wait for it and we'll see that, last option. If not, I'll delete everything and then again I'll reinstall. Sort of completing HTTP session with session logout and login option. I mean login activity. Meanwhile, any queries? So the one which we are working, it's actually we have discussed in the previous classes as well, right? Any queries? Meanwhile, actually output, how, how it will how it will get in the sense, how these values will be redirected. So when I click on login button, it will be redirected to this session servlet 1, where we have, what is this, right? So the first file, session servlet 1, And here in this file, we are retrieving and we are retrieving and we are printing to the browser. Actually, we are validating. Suppose if the username or if the username is empty, then it displays error message as an username is mandatory. So please enter username. This message, whatever the message which have written here, that will be included in the same page. Okay, suppose everything is fine in the sense, username is not equals to null, then it goes to redirected to the another page. So that is session servlet 2. And in that page, in that page again, so we are retrieving that username and we are printing. But here this value will not be printed, which is entered by the user, because because it's not in a session. Okay, so this is a reason, this is a reason HTTP session interface or HTTP session tracking, technique is going to be used to maintain, user data. Okay. Mm. Meanwhile, I'll create one more activity for this, with HTTP session. Let it configure. Okay, so let it take time and let it download. And meanwhile, so I'll continue with this, HTTP session. With HTTP session. Without HTTP session, actually, I have to show you the, output. Then only you'll come to know the difference. Fine. So, but still, I'll continue. No operations progress is too. Oh, it's still. Again, failed to start. I don't know what exactly everything is fixed. Some other option, I guess. Okay, so last one option. Let's go to this workspace. Workspace, now we are in um, Okay. So I deleted and let me restart this Eclipse once. Right. So what I did, I have removed. I deleted .snap folder or file in workspace, Eclipse workspace, and I'm restarting. So hopefully it should work. And also another option, there will be a temp folder. Okay, there will be temp folder. Even we can delete the temp folder as well. So that temp folder will be inside our plugins, but it should be inside, it will be inside Eclipse server code part. Right. Org Eclipse WST. Okay, so again start. I guess again same problem. Okay, I will continue with the programming part. So I will, I'll check this problem, or else I'll try to get it new workspace with, a new folder for especially for another Eclipse, and then I'll execute. Okay. And now I'll show you with Eclipse, with the HttpSession how it will be. So here in the web content, so I just copied that same, login.html file. Okay. And in this login.html file, yes, everything is same. Nothing is going to be changed, right? So let's get into the Java resources, and here, this is without, sorry. Okay, I have not copied this one. I'm copying that same. Okay, I'm copying the same file inside web content. And now let's go to create session servlet 1. Okay, so I'm gonna create a session servlet 1. It's a servlet class. Session servlet 1. So paste here and finish. Right. So now I'm removing this, annotations part. So we'll have one more, one more in the sense, we'll have one sample example for this annotation as well. But for now, we'll continue with this. Okay, so first in this do get method. Okay, so let's take do get method, and inside this do get method, okay, what I'm trying to do, I'm trying to instantiate, object for print writer and for the HTTP session. Okay. Print writer, it's print PRI. Print P equals to response dot get writer. Okay, and now I'm going to create object for this HTTP session. Okay, HTTP session and its object. Okay, and its object session equals to, so here again I'm calling a request object. Okay, request dot get session. Okay, get session, right? So I'm getting session for this particular servlet. Why it is an error? Right. And now we can print, we can print out dot print, not out, it's a p dot print, because here I'm taking p, right? So now I'm trying to print ID, I'm trying to print ID of an session. So session ID is, so whenever we have, we take this session, HTTP session, yes, there will be default ID for each session. Okay, it's not common, so it's a different, it's a unique, for every user, but yes, it will generate automatically. Okay, when we use this HTTP session interface, right? So now I'm trying to get session dot get ID. Okay, so this is a get ID method. And now, okay, and now string username equals to request. Okay, request dot get parameter, and here I should pass uname. Okay, so now I've already generated, I instantiated HTTP session, but for that, specifically we are calling name. Okay, and now we can set this attribute, username, and we can use the same name or same session detail for any other pages as well. Okay, right? So now I'm evaluating. Okay, so if what is this username, if it is equal to null, or if username what happened, username dot equal with empty, with empty. So let's get into this. And now out dot, same logic I'm writing. Okay, I'm taking, so out, so sorry, let me change this name as an out, because it is out, and now again, so out dot print. So what we can, so I'm gonna write on message center and h2. Okay, along with a font. So yes, we can change the font as color. Basically it will be, error message will be displayed in the form of red color only now. So red. Okay. And now please enter username and password. Okay, so I have I given here and right. So in this, request dispatcher, not yes. So request dispatcher because we have to display that in same page, right? So request dispatcher. Okay, and its object. So rd equals to request dot get request dispatcher, and here we have to pass the login page, login.html. Okay, and now so we have to include this message, right? So for that rd dot include and request and response object compulsorily we have to pass. Okay, so now let's go to else part. Else. Okay, so in else let's take out dot print. So in out dot print, let's take header tag h1 or h2, it's fine. Okay, so here you can say it as an page 2. Okay. This is first session servlet, right? So page 1. Okay, welcome, you know page 1 welcomes with a font. Okay, with a font and its color. Okay, color equals to some fine. So let me take blue. Okay, and right, and close this with double quotes. Okay, and now it's with a username. So which is that name? That is a username. Okay, username. Right, so one more place because we have to ensure to close that properly. And now we have to close font, close raise font slash, again this is h2, h2, right? Okay, so now yes, we can continue with the break tag because this is with the out dot print. Okay, out dot print, and here break tag. So now so please observe. So we are storing, okay, storing information, information to session object. Okay, so session for object, and now let's take session object and observe how to take this to the session object. I'm taking here session, the one which we have created here. Where is this one? Session dot set attribute. Okay, so here I'm giving it as an session variable, and I'm setting name. So of course I've taken one variable. For that variable we have to specify which user is interacting. So what is it username here? This is this is a variable, right? So let's go paste here. Okay, so now I set it my we kept our user details into a HTTP session. So let me note down here first parameter as always a string. First parameter is always a string. Okay, and second parameter, is second parameter can be any object. So what object it is? Actually a string object, right? Now, right now, right. So now we can display one message. Actually, this comment belongs to the previous line. So what I'll do, I'll just write here. Fine. So now we can, forward request to the next line. I mean, to the next page. So out dot print within double quote. So here we have to take anchor tag with the h reference. H reference equals to the link. Okay. So basically it is session servlet 2. Session servlet 2. Okay. This should be in single quote. What happened? Okay, it should be in a single quote. Fine. And we have to close this, right? And double quotes as well. Okay, so now we can write something here, like, I'm writing here as in select here just for hyperlink. It's a kind of button, button. It's not a button. It just shows this text with underline. Fine. And now, so let's close this anchor tag. And now it is. So now I have to remove this. Double quotes. Hope it is. Yes, perfect. This is about your, session, how we create a session. So where is it? Let me, go to this do get method. Here, creating session object. Okay. And here, getting session ID. Okay. And the last one, you're aware. So we are setting, whatever information we are getting as an a user, that for that user, we are adding session. And now in this second, servlet, how we redirect, that is mattered. Okay. So now let's get into that file. Okay. So where is it? Right. Let me create a second servlet. Okay. Second. Session servlet 2, right? Right, session servlet 2. Okay. So now go to this, and here, let me remove this required things. I mean, the things which is not required. Okay. And now, so not an issue with this, annotations, but as I told you, why always, I'm preparing more with this, what is it, configuration. So this might helps you in case if you are, learning, if you wanted to learn any frameworks. Okay. Right. So session servlet 1 is done. Now it's about getting servlet, or user information with the help of this session, HTTP session. Okay. So now in the second page, so let me write, let me create print writer out equals to response, response dot get writer. Okay. And now, so I'm instantiating my HTTP session. It is HTTP session Okay, and let me take it as a session. Okay, so equals to request, request dot get session. Fine. And now, so I'm trying to get the ID. Okay, so out dot print. So inside this out dot print ln session ID. So I'm trying to get the ID. Okay, so now how do we get session dot get session dot get ID? Here it is. Okay, here it should be plus symbol, right? Right. Okay, so now right, let me write comment here so that it will be easy for you people to understand, right? It's like getting, getting session object. Okay, so getting session object created by container. Okay, so this is created by the container. One second, one second, one second. So again, here what I'm trying to do. So I'm trying to retrieve and print session ID, which is created in the session, servlet, not servlet, session servlet one page. Okay, retrieving and printing, retrieving and printing the session ID, which is created, Okay, right. And the session ID, printed will be same as in the previous one. Why? We are not generating a new one because already we are added to this user, right? So session ID is same as uh, previous ID. Okay, previous page. Okay, so printing ID is also done, right? And now we can get that session, back. So how do you get back that session? So by creating session in the sense that username, okay, nothing else. So again, I'm taking, here as a username with the name, alphabets difference in the sense that in the first page, everything is in lowercase. Now it is a name, N is a uppercase, right? And now equals to, so here session dot get attribute, get attribute. So here we have to pass that, uh, we have to pass the variable, session string variable. This one is where we have that this one. So this variables we have to get, copy this string parameter and go to that second servlet, and here within double quotes you pass it. Okay, and end with semicolon. But here, there is a confusion because this is session object, so we have to create, in case if you want to get that, we have to create it in a session format only, but we don't need that. Okay, we have to print in the form of string. So in such cases, we can typecast. Okay, we can typecast to the type which you needed. Okay, so for now here, in which format I needed in the form of string. So I'm passing here string. Hope it's clear, guys. And now, so we can print this to the browser just for the confirmation. Okay, so out dot print, and in this out dot print, let's take h1, h1, right? So page 2 welcomes. Okay, so welcomes, and right, I'm writing here, font with color. Font color equals to red. Actually, red is not read because it's not an alert, right? So, but still, I am using here, and now it's the name which we had to print here. This one. Battery is low. Just give me a minute. Okay, it's done. Right. So I'm printing username. This is actually just a minute. So it should be, another color username. So I should remove this one. Right. So this is how, we can maintain, or we can track user information or user data even with a client server side. It's not only with, it's not only with the client side, even we can, maintain data from server side as well. So among that, HTTP session, is the one main important session tracking technique. Let me try to run. I don't know whether this, Eclipse, not Eclipse, server works or not. It is not. Okay, execution, say, practically I showed, but only execution part is left out because of this, Tomcat server issue. But yes, in the next session, again, I will show this, execution. But yes, even you people can try to execute these, activities. Okay. I'll take one more, so that is for session login and logout. Okay. I'll take one more activity that is for session login and logout. So nothing. So I'll create a session with the login option, logout option, and yes. So even if you want to, pass own profile, okay. So profile information, even I'm not going to, pass all the profile data. Just I'm going to create a page, okay. And yes, I'm trying to show you the redirection part, okay. Let me check the chat. One second. I have not observed any questions. screen is okay. Okay, actually no questions. If any questions, you guys can drop a message in chat window. Okay, so for now, for execution, so I'm getting issue with this server. So I'll correct it later, because if I take this, now, it will take lots of time. So sometime, in case if you people face this issue, so the first option, try to delete it here. Okay, so first option we can delete here. Okay, let me, I'm just showing, because even after deleting, it is not working for me. Okay, in such cases, so we do have option as, servers folder in the project explorer. Even we can delete this as well. Where is it option? Yes, we can delete this server as well. Okay, and now you can get back that. Okay, so if you want to get that servers back, again, go to Windows option in your Eclipse. Okay, and show view, and in show view, you can select as a server. I'm using 8 and 9, both are not supporting. It is started, guys. I'm happy. Okay, username. Let me enter without. Okay. I didn't pass configuration file, so no one, reminded me, right? Anyhow, it is working. Servlet. And servlet name, which is that servlet name, session servlet 1. Session servlet 1. And let's take this servlet name and servlet class, same. And now come out. So session servlet mapping. In servlet mapping, it is servlet name and URL pattern. URL pattern. Let me give that same. Okay. Let me give that same with a /. So I'll copy this and go to login page. And yes. And again, go back to this web.xml and copy this entire, entire configuration essence, line number 13 to 20, and go to the next line, paste it, and change the servlet name. So nothing here. Session servlet 2. Okay, and again, so we have to take this URL pattern and go back to this servlet 1 and here replace this. That's it. Okay, so now let's go to login page. I'll mute for a minute. Where is this mistake with HTTP? It's somewhere, reflecting this session servlet one. Session servlet one in the sense everything is in lowercase. So, but nowhere I have, I have modified everything, right? Web.xml. So session. And now let's go to session one here. Anything here with a session servlet one? No, no. Let's in second servlet. Nowhere, but why it is taking that? Mm, See how do we identify this 404 error? 404 error only occurs when when mistakes from the programmer end. Okay, so if any 500 error, if any 500 or 5 not 505 not 505, it's a 500 error, that is server issue. Okay. Close all. Okay, once let me try without HTTP session. Okay. Okay. Actually, I'm not finding where exactly the problem is about, because here server issue I'm getting. See, but if I go with another login, another means with the session object. Let's see. Hmm. Fine then. So no need of anyhow. Already I've wasted almost 10-15 minutes for this server issue. So let me continue with the another page, another activity that is for session login and logout. So for this session login and logout, so of course, I'll be creating three HTML pages. Okay, so one is index page and login page. And again, same as my index page, I'll be taking it as a navigation. Okay. And then according to that, I'll be taking 3 servlet classes. So for now, I guess I don't think I can complete, I can complete it, but still I will, yes. So what is it? I'll create one activity one demo, one project for it. So session login out. Okay. So here in this, let's take, HTML file. So this is index. So I'm taking 3 hyperlinks. One is for login and for logout and for profile. Okay. So here, let me drag this profile as value. Okay. And let's create login page. So as we are familiar with the login page. Where is it? HTML file. Okay. So here, mm, form action equals to login servlet. So same as the one which is given here index. Okay, it's logout. Fine. Right. So login servlet and method should be post. I'm taking method as a post method because you know almost all all applications I've taken get method, right? So now I'm taking post method. Fine. So now name uh name So input type is text. So name equals to name. Okay, so I'm closing this. And again, so let's take the password. Okay, I'll copy this line. So this is for password. And here I'm changing PSW. Okay, and now so button type input. Okay, so input type equals to submit, and value equals to login. So let me use break all, after this BR tag. Okay, so now it is done, login page is done. So now we should go with the another page. Okay, now let me create servlet page. Okay, so which servlet is this? Let's take a login servlet. I'm not taking any, packages, but if we want to provide, quality code, so we must pass, packages. Then only we have to create required classes. So this is login servlet. Okay, so now let me finish it off this. Right, let me finish. And now let me complete this login file. I mean login servlet. Let me remove everything here. Right. So here what we will do, we'll take, response dot set content type. Text slash HTML. Okay. And print writer out equals to response dot get writer. Okay. And now so request dot, I'm directly calling request object. Okay. Why it has become slow? Request object dot get request dispatcher. Right. So I'm taking this get request dispatcher directly instead of, calling that request dispatcher interface. And here I'm going to pass, one more page, that is navigate. So I shouldn't call this as a navigate. For now it is empty. Okay. For now it will be empty. Okay. So dot include. Okay. In this include, I'm going to pass request and response objects. Okay. Request and response object. Actually, my intention is to redirect to another page. Okay, to include, this is comment, actually in comment I should write, so to include, uh, include, let's say, let me say include some navigation page. Okay, within double quotes I have to pass that file name, but for now I have not created, but I'll after creation I'll pass it. Okay, so now, so as usual, uh, string name equals to request dot get parameter. Okay, so in this parameter, what needs to be passed? Name, right? So let me confirm this login page once. Name and PSW, right? Right. Right. So now again, so I'll copy this and I'll paste here. This is PSW and this should be password. Okay. And right, so I'm gonna validate this. Validate this. So if password, okay. So if password dot equals to XLR 123. If it is equals to XLR 123, then it will be redirected, and we are printing a message. Message is in welcome, and what is that name? It is just a name. Okay. Right. After this, now I'm gonna create HTTP session. HTTP. Uh, right. So HTTP session and its object session equals to request dot get session. Request dot get session. Okay. And now we are setting attribute. Okay. Session dot set attribute. So what is that attribute name? So let me take, s name I'm taking. It is a string variable and value for it is name. This one. This one. Hope it is clear. Okay. And let's come out of this if part, and it's the else. Okay. So now else is, out dot print. Okay. Out dot print. And let's write here. Let's say here invalid username and password. Okay, actually for password I have not validated now, so I can go for only username. So request dot guest request dispatcher. So request dot get request dispatcher, and within double quotes we have to pass, where this message needs to be included, that is in a login page. Okay. So here I included, the page which I wanted to, but here I have not included because, I have not created that respective page. Okay. So let me close the resource here in the else part. After else, let's call this out dot close. Right. Okay. So this is our login page, and I have to create a logout page and one more profile page. Okay. So this I'll continue in the next session because time is up. So we'll continue in the next session, including the execution of these activities. Okay, including execution of these activities means without HTTP session and with HTTP session along with the session login and logout activity. Okay. Any questions so far? It's completely related to HTTP session. No questions? Okay. Fine then. We'll continue in the next session. Till then. Thank you all.